In this word problem, we're going to look at setting it up and solving it. And before we get started, I just want to point out that these problems take a lot of time to set up, so just be patient with yourself. Don't try to rush through it, because if you rush through it, you are very likely to make mistakes. And after you see the amount of work that goes into these problems, you're not going to want to make mistakes by rushing through it. Let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking notes. So a theater group made appearances in 2 cities. So we know we're talking about 2 cities. The hotel charge before tax in the second city. Okay, so to give me some information about the second city is $1,500 higher than in the first. The tax in the first city is 5%. So tax in the first city is 5.5%. And the tax in the second city, 4%. And then it says the total hotel tax paid for the 2 cities. So the total taxes paid, and then for both cities, is $416.25. And then the question, how much was the hotel charge in each city before tax? That is what we're trying to figure out. And I like to start with the question because the question lets me know that this is what we're looking for. So we want to find out the hotel charge. So the hotel charge in each city before tax. So I'm going to identify my unknown. I'm going to call it X. I'm going to let X be the hotel charge since they're asking me how much is the hotel charge. So hotel charge. Okay, so I have that set up. And now I'm going to go back and review what I underlined. And I know we were talking about 2 cities. So I'm going to organize my notes in terms of city 1 and city 2. For city 1, if I scan through it over here, it says the tax. So for city 1, it says the tax in the first city is 5.5%. So I'm going to write down 5.5% tax. And then the tax in the second city is 4%. So I'm going to write down 4% tax for city 2. They also told us the total hotel tax paid in both cities, so combined, is $416.25. So city 1 and city 2 taxes combined is $416.25. And then the last piece of information that I did not use yet was the second sentence where it says the hotel charge, so it says before tax in the second city is $1,500 higher than the first. So when I read that, that automatically signals to me that the 2 answers are related to each other. If I can find, for example, the amount of charge the hotel charge was for city 1, then I know the second city's charge because it's just going to be $1,500 more or $1,500 higher. So to make things easier, just to point out first, let's say I call, well, we already identified X is my hotel charge. So let's say city 1 has a hotel charge of X, right? That's the hotel charge. If I put the same variable for city 2, right now I'm saying that they both have the exact same amount for the hotel charge. But that's not true because they said the second city is $1,500 higher. So if I leave it right now the same way, X and X, that means they're the same. But to show that second city or city 2 is $1,500 higher, I'm going to put plus 1,500. And now that's going to make it so the hotel charge in city 2 is $1,500 higher than the first. And also keep in mind, like, let's say that they said it was $1,500 less or $1,500 fewer, then the only thing I would make different was I would just put a minus sign because that would make it less by $1,500 for city 2. But since they said higher, then it's gonna increase by 1,500, so I have to add 1,500 in this case. So I used up all my information, and now we are going to set up an equation. So we have to figure out what's the relationship, and my information or my equation is going to come from this piece right here. City 1 and city 2 taxes combined is $416.25. So in mathematics, when they say that you're combining the taxes, that means that we're adding those 2 amounts. So if I express it, city 1 plus city 2, and again we're talking about city 1 taxes plus city 2 taxes, that's going to equal $416.25. The only other thing you need to know now is how do you calculate taxes. So I'll show you a little formula on the side. So to calculate taxes paid, you can use this formula. You need to know the tax rate. So you take the tax rate and make sure it's in decimal format. So I'll put a little note, decimal format. And you take that answer and you're going to multiply it with the hotel charge in this case. So what are you trying to find taxes of? Well, in this case, we want to find out what's the taxes paid for the hotel. So we take the tax rate in decimal format, multiply it with the hotel charge, and that'll tell you how much taxes you paid. And going back to my equation, since we know the combined taxes is $416.25, then I'm just going to convert City 1 taxes and City 2 taxes into my formula. So City 1 taxes, using my formula, I have to know the tax rate for that city, which I can see right here is 5.5% in taxes. And to convert that to a decimal, because we need it in decimal format, 5.5% simply means 5.5 out of 100. Percent means out of 100. And if you divide that in a calculator, you're going to get 0.055. So that is the tax rate in decimal format. And then you have to take that and multiply it with the hotel charge. Well, don't forget, the hotel charge is represented by this, the variable X. So I just take that and put times X. That's the hotel charge for City 1. And I actually wrote it down over here too, so it's probably better to look at this one. Next, City 2 taxes is found by taking the tax rate, which is right here, 4% tax. So I gotta change that to a decimal form. So don't forget, 4% means 4 out of 100. Percent means divide by out of 100. So 4 divided by 100, I get 0.04. And you take the tax rate in decimal form, multiply with the hotel charge, and don't forget that hotel charge for City 2 was $1,500 more. So we came up with this expression, X plus 1,500. So since there's two terms, I'm multiplying with the tax rate. Gotta put that in parentheses. So I get X plus 1,500. And then I bring down my equal sign and the 416.25. And now I have my equation with only one unknown. The X is not known, and since there's only one unknown variable, we're actually able to solve this now. So let's do that. Let me just slide down a little bit. Alright, so when I simplify it, I get 0.055x plus, using the distributive property, we get 0.04x plus 0.04x times 1,500, and you get 60. Bring down my equal sign and the rest of the equation, and now we keep simplifying. So now I can combine like terms, which are these two here, add those up, and I will get 0.095x plus 60 equals 416.25. Then we're going to subtract 60 to both sides, and we get these to cancel out, and we get 0.095x equals 356.25. Let me just move this down a little bit more. Last step, divide both sides by 0.095, and then we're going to get 1x equals 3750. So we just found x. So the most important part now, did we answer the question? Because sometimes you get an answer, it doesn't mean you're already finished. So let's just go back and see. The question was, how much was the hotel charge in each city before tax? We now know x equals 3750. And if I look, let me just zoom out a little. If I look up here, we have x equals hotel charge. So right now, this 3750 is the hotel charge. And then looking over here now for City 1, we know that this variable x is the hotel charge in City 1. So therefore, to get City 2 hotel charge, I'll use the expression that I wrote down over here, which was x plus 1,500. And now all I have to do is replace x, which is 3750. Then I add the 1,500 to that, and we get 5250. So we have the hotel charge for City 2, and we also have the hotel charge for City 1. And that's how you solve this type of problem.